welcome to this week's episode of UCA Scoreboard from My Fountain Online. Guys, the Bears' upcoming game is against Nicholls State down in Louisiana, and we've seen a lot of injuries come to this Bears football team, but the receiving corps has stepped up through those injuries. What are some names and some players that have stood out to you through this?
Stop right there. I'm going to go first because you're going to take my person.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Courtney Whitehead. You know, he only has 3 touchdowns on the year. I feel like he's had a lot more than that because he's had, several 100-yard games. He's got 509 yards on the year, just freakishly tall, 6'3", 217. He's got great hands. He's probably the best receiver that I've seen play this year for us, and hopefully he can continue to grow and have more touchdowns next year. Look for him to be a star player for us next year.
All right. Well, our executive producer, John Walls, told me that I was not allowed to say Jatavius Wilson. So, for that matter, I guess I'm going to have to go with Jatavius Wilson. He is second on the team in receptions with 37, and he's got 383 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. And you mentioned Whitehead's numbers. I have him down as well, but I'm going to go ahead and skip him since you have him.
Yeah.
But I also have Damian Watts on here. He's got 24 receptions, 385 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So he's obviously shown his worth as talent as well.
What is y'all's score predictions for this Saturday's game?
Okay, well, Nicholls State is only 1-4 in conference, and they lost to Northwestern State, who UCA also lost to, but they also lost to Lamar, 56-34. They lost to Sam Houston State recently, 49-24, and they're on a 4-game losing streak. So I really think that with them going downhill so much, UCA is going to be able to come into this game and step up. It's going to be a mostly defensive game,
right,
relatively low scoring, and I'm going to give UCA the edge, 27-21.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be pretty close to your prediction. I'm going to say 28-21. We always get close around the same thing. I feel like it's going to be a defensive battle game. It's going to be not fun to watch like the Lamar game. It's going to be a lot played like the Missouri State game. I don't know if anybody remembers, but coming in the second half of that game, Missouri State had like 4 consecutive punts. It was just a bad game to watch, but I feel like it's going to be a scrappy game. UCA will get on top.
Yeah. Now let's get out of here before we get buffed off the court.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of UCA Scoreboard for My Fountain Online.